We're back with another crowd control. We were off for about a week, but we're here again. We're going to be talking about 3 campaigns that are currently running. Then Jeremy Howard, spoiler alert, is going to be coming in with some things that are on his mind about crowdfunding. And then we'll be back, and I'm not going to spoil this, to talk about a campaign that is launching this week.
A very highly anticipated campaign.
Highly anticipated.
You're not going to want to miss it.
Highly anticipated?
Yeah, anticipated.
Highly anticipated game. It starts with an FL and it ends in an OE, and it sounds like Floe. I just gave it away.
I'm going to talk about one. The first one is one that is near and dear to my heart. This is Vampire the Masquerade Chapters. If you've never watched this show, you probably never heard. I've talked about this game so much, from the prototype all the way through to the final.
He loves it.
I do. I absolutely love it. And I think actually Jeremy Howard, speaking of the devil, posted a great response online just about the game had some issues. It had some printing issues. It had some typos and some things that needed errata. And even beyond those, the game is still amazing and fun to play. So what they've done, they are coming back. You can get the game. You can get the deluxe, everything that you missed.
Now with errata?
Now with errata. So there's actually an upgrade kit for those of you like me who had everything originally and want just all the fixed cards. You can get it. I mean, that, you know, at the end of the day, sure, I'd rather not pay, but they are throwing in a bunch of new stuff as well into that pledge level that's not just the errata. There's also an expansion that's coming in this printing as well. It's the epilogue expansion that kind of gives you 8 extra scenarios that take place after the main campaign to kind of wrap up some things. So they are bringing in some new stuff. They are bringing in fixes. If you're backing for the first time, you're getting the second edition, which is going to have all the fixes already in it. But for those like me who are willing to pay a little bit extra just to get it, I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad I don't have to back the whole thing just to get the fixes. So I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and before you get into the comments and start complaining like, oh, they're trying to milk us of money, they couldn't, they don't have to do this.
Hey, that's true.
Like, they probably would have come out with another campaign because it was a successful first campaign. But you know what? Mistakes were made.
I mean, this
People
game,
make mistakes. They're coming back. It's a good thing that they're offering.
Yeah, it's like writing 10 novels worth of content in this. It's like 10 novels worth. So, like, I'm going to cut them some slack on some typos and some misnumbered pages and things like that.
Yeah, please do, because we will not cut you slack if you get down and get all nasty in our comments.
So yeah, this is your chance to catch up and get all everything that vampire that you could ever want.
The next one we want to talk about is one that we've had content up on the channel. Full disclosure, we did a paid preview for Dante. But Dante is a pretty big Gamefound campaign that launched. Interestingly enough, there was another Gamefound campaign that launched called Inferno.
Maybe we should do a side by side.
Both of them are on the hotness, like in the top 5. I'm not. It feels a little weird.
It is a little weird. I mean, this happens in Hollywood all the time. This is a Deep Impact Armageddon
is
type
this
situation.
A Bug's Life and Ants all over again?
Exactly.
No, but this is Dante, Inferno is actually in the title.
Yeah.
We did content on this. This is a big boss battler. You can watch our preview, but just to give you an overview, it does have like the first half, which is that sort of narrative experience, and then you transition over into the confrontation, which is the boss battler. Yeah. You can skip the narrative experience, but like we said in the preview, I wouldn't skip the narrative experience.
That's the fun for me.
I think it has some cool connections, like those should, to the boss battler part, because based on some decisions you make, you're going to be maybe gaining some items that you can use, but in doing so, you're going to be losing some attribute tokens that you could also use during the confrontation.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision process. I'd rather come to the boss battle having made my own decisions rather than like it will arbitrarily say, okay, we use this card and have these pieces of equipment. I'd rather just have made the decisions on my own. Plus, for me, I really like the Dante narrative, so I don't want to miss that part.
Yeah, it was cool. And I think also it should be said, the game, as those games go, and I don't play a lot of them, it was pretty quick to set up, so like it's not like a lot of investment of your time to go through the story part, because that didn't take us very long. Now, granted, it was the first scenario, I imagine, but that went really quickly.
Yeah, no, it was pretty quick. And we had a lot of fun with it.
But yeah, it was very cool. If you like big miniatures and boss battle type content, it's probably a game to check out.
All right, I've got one more before we break, and this is called Forge Flame. This is another entry. I shouldn't say that, but this is another on that level of like lighter, super cute looking games. that use some components or some mechanics that are going to get people deeper into games. In this case, this is a resource collection game where you're moving around a board taking actions, but your actions are all done via a deck of cards that's going to get upgraded as you play. So a little bit of light deck building in here. This is definitely not a heavy game though. In fact, if you're looking at the artwork, you'll see how just absolutely adorable all of the different creatures look. All the cards are very vibrant and colorful. This is the kind of game that you can bring to your families, your friends that aren't super gamers. That's kind of that target audience right there, like mid-level gamers who are going to get sucked in by these adorable miniatures and the adorable artwork that comes in the game.
So mid-level gamers, because your description as you started that sounded like a very wordy way to say a gateway game.
I mean, but it's like maybe Gateway Plus, right? Like it definitely. Okay. I don't want to say that this is like Flamecraft level. Like it fits
so
right
it's
within like Critter Kitchen, that whole like genre. I would say of like cute games that offer meat, but like aren't your 4-hour-long, super dense Euro experience.
Light medium.
Yeah,
light to medium. Maybe more light than medium.
But yeah, this game, I mean, again, like the components are going to sell you, the artwork's going to sell you. If that doesn't sell you, the gameplay looks challenging. I mean, it's a resource collection game. You're gathering these resources on the board and you're using those resources to craft artifacts, and those artifacts are going to give you abilities. So there is a lot going on. But again, that theme, that artwork, and just the whole graphic design of this game, it's very clean, it's very fun looking. And we haven't played this one, so I can't like talk in great depth about it, but it is definitely one that I want to play.
We're seeing a lot of games recently with that more playful look about them.
Yeah, and I like that.
Everstone,
that was
had that vibe. Even similar sounding mechanics, a little bit to what you're saying. Building artifacts. And
I could see them in the same play. In the
not
same
to
game
mention
day,
one that
for
we're
sure.
going to be talking about when we come back from the break here with Jeremy.
Yeah, but before we do, let's hear what he has to say.
Looks like Brian and David needed MVM North to back clean up this week. But hey, I will. I got some games that I have delivered. I got some games that I'm going to be touching on later on in the channel that coming in the next month or so. And I want to tell you about the Awakened Realms live stream. They have some releases that are coming. They're talking about them. I typically just watch those just because I'm interested in like event-like things. And I wish smaller publishers did them, like Salt and Pepper Games that has all these things coming out. Or even a retail company like DeVere. Like, hey, this is what's coming out. Anyway, Detective. I don't know if you know about this game. I believe there was a review on our channel a long time ago. This game has some really, really cool mechanics in it. And it's just got that beautiful artwork. But this system will never die to me. And that's why I keep supporting it, and I'm glad that Van Ryder keeps supporting this. Hey, this Black Mold game, oh Lord, if you love dark themed stuff, take a look at this game. I am really excited. This one is about holding your breath. How long can you hold your breath? The Black Mold, you are prisoners, and you're trying to get out of there. This one right here, you don't know about this one. You are sleeping on this one right here. Take a look. I'm going to be doing some coverage on it, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. Don't worry, I'm going to give it a full review so that you understand the positives and negatives of the game. Then we have Reign of Hades and Wrath. If you know Chip Theory games, you know that they have big, beautiful titles. Well, this one's going to be a big, beautiful title. Area control, beautiful, bright with that artwork from Manny Tremblay. So he's going to design a game, and it's an area control game. But here's the kicker. Instead of it being like $150, it's going to be $65. And I'm so rocking with that, that cheaper energy with high quality. So expect the same stitch mats, nice dice, all that stuff. It's going to be in there. I've seen the prototype. It looks good. I know it's going to be a great product when it comes. Finally, over here, we have Reign of Hades. I'm just excited about big box games. It says it's coming to crowdfunding here, Q1, which is, I think it's early March. I'm really excited to talk about this. It's got some interesting mechanics that I'm not going to share with you. I'm going to save it as a surprise. It's just got a lot of good things going on. And this prototype has some really high quality stuff in it. And finally, I'm lying to you. There's one. I just want to tell you real quickly, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm so glad Portal finally delivered this baby so I can dig back in. It's got new miniatures, it's got all this extra stuff in it, but I just want to dive into a true sense of adventure. And if you remember my top 10, how passionate I was about this game, this is one of the sole reasons why I love board gaming so much. I love the sense of adventure, the thrill ride of game, and this one right here does that. This is Robinson Crusoe. If you're ever looking for a game that's tough but thematic, this is the type of game you want to look for. Should be coming to retail soon. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as I did. It's a head scratcher for a lot of people and a point of frustration for a lot, so I understand that. Check it out. All right, party people, you take care.
Thank you, Jeremy, and we are looking forward to seeing you when you're here next, which
Yeah.
is going to be hopefully very soon. The last one we wanted to talk about, if you hadn't put my clue together earlier when I spelled it and said the name, is Floe.
This was one, I've been looking forward to this one for a long time.
This one feels like it's been on the horizon for a very long time. They announced this a long time ago, and from the very box art, we've talked about sort of adorable, light-looking games. This one has that in spades. The box art pulled me in. We've recently seen, we don't have the game. Fingers crossed, I think they are going to be sending us a copy so we can get it played maybe during their campaign. But I did watch a video. Thinker Themer has a great video where they dive into it. And, well, I will spoil it a little bit. They really liked it.
Yeah.
And they dive into the game. So if you want to check out the game a little bit more, go check out their video. But to give you an idea of what's going on, this is what feels like a pretty robust Euro, but has a very pleasant, light look.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it seems like there's a fair amount of things going on. And there's a big feeling of discovery. That's one of the things that I took away from their video. I was like, okay, that has me in. You're going to be traveling around these sort of icy waters to collect resources. You can take those resources to a town that effectively works like a rondel. And when you go to that town, you can collect things, maybe even some objectives. Then you can also go down to the caves and fight monsters. There's all these different areas you can go to. Oh, and one of the other cool things in town, you can actually use wood to build buildings, and those buildings are like these 2 stacked cards that go next to your player boards. This is from, I think, Pika Games.
Yeah, which is kind of related somehow to Fantasia.
I think they're a sub-brand. They're under the Fantasia umbrella, I believe.
Yeah, so like Endless Winter.
Yeah.
That kind of style. I mean, it's not the same game at all.
But if you've ever played Endless Winter, again, not the same kind of game, but you know how Endless Winter with lots of the expansions feels like a lot of different things?
Yeah.
This felt like a little bit like that.
Well, and I think we can also expect, at least from looking at the campaign previews that we've seen, which is not quite live yet, but that this is probably going to have modules like that. I mean, they're kind of known for that kind of thing. But also, they've set a certain bar as far as production of components go, and this looks like it definitely meets or exceeds that bar.
Production of components, and then the way those components, one of the things that's big with me is when the use of components tactily feel really good to use.
Satisfying feeling.
One of the things they pointed out on the Thinker Themer thing was on your player board, you can collect a key and you toggle this little piece up on your player board in this double layered player board. And then if you find a chest, you can toggle that chest up. If you have the chest and the key, you can toggle them both back down to get a chest card. That's just a cool process for a otherwise mundane activity in a game.
Yeah,
which I think it gives you that feeling of like pulling that theme into the mechanics, which seems cool. And it's adorable looking, the creatures and everything.
Everything about this game. I mean, when I saw it back last year, I mean, there was barely anything, and I was already like, okay, I'm in on this game. So seeing everything that's been released so far, I'm very excited about this. I do hope we get a chance to.
If we do get a copy of it, we'll get a little bit more coverage that's a little more diving into the game than we just did.
Right, but yeah, that's it. That's what we've got for today. 4 really exciting games.
Yeah, for sure. If you have any questions about any of them, please make them in the comments below. We'll get down there and talk to you about them all day long. Until next time, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.